अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीबॉडी। सो दिस इज़ क्लाइमेट चेंज अगेन और आज हम वीक 15 के ऊपर आ चुके हैं। सो इस वीक का बेसिकली वी अगेन लुकिंग एट क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड मीडिया, बट मोर स्पेसिफिकली आज हम क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड सोशल मीडिया और क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड डिजिटल मीडिया को डिस्कस करेंगे एज़ पर द रीडिंग दैट वाज असाइंड। इस वीक की आई गेस एक ही रीडिंग थी आप लोगों के लिए असाइन की हुई, विच वॉज another chapter from the Cox and Pizzulo book. I hope कि सबने अभी तक रीड कर ली होगी and it did give a lot of interesting information जो हम ज़्यादा डिटेल में वेंसडे को भी डिस्कस कर लेंगे होपफुली, बट जो की उसमें पॉइंट्स हैं we'll just go over those today. So थोड़ा सा होमवर्क है बिफोर आवर मीटिंग ऑन वेंसडे. आई वॉन्ट कि आप लोग जाएँ to whatever social media or digital media platform it is that you have access to, या फिर जो ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जिससे आप सबसे ज़्यादा familiar होंगे. So go there and search for these hashtags. तो एक तो हो गया climate change, that's like a very generic, फिर the main one, then Greta Thunberg, फिर global warming, and then climate change is fake, right? So what I want you to do is कि basically in different hashtags, just pick one or pick all of them, it's up to you, but I want you to look at the type of coverage that these hashtags are getting, कौन से लोग इसको कर रहे हैं. Basically you have to note down your observations, right? Your observations में more specifically I want you to see who is tweeting about these tweeting या फिर who's posting on social media about these hashtags. What is it that they're saying, right? So for example अगर hashtag global warming है तो जिसने भी tweet या post किया उसके बारे में, are they saying something positive about it or are they more on the skeptical side, या क्या वो कह रहे हैं. When have they tweeted these things is another thing that I want you to look at. Specifically right now उसकी जो media coverage है, is it as dense now as it was let's say around the time जब climate change climate march वाला time था, and especially now is it getting the same coverage or is it getting enough coverage, given that there are other bigger concerns with the world right now. Why, right? Also कि क्यों उन्होंने tweet किया हुआ है about a certain, तो basically आपने context उनके निकालना है when these hashtags are used. And I keep saying tweet, but that's because the first thing that comes to my mind. But again आप लोग different social media platforms पे जितना diverse आप लोग लेकर आएंगे context, so that's going to make for a better discussion on Wednesday. How are issues framed given these hashtags? ठीक है, उसमें basically वो कौन से stakeholders identify कर रहे हैं, right? So when you talk about let's say climate change, उसमें are they implicating के the entire world is a stakeholder, या फिर वो कह रहे हैं कि जो economy है वो एक stakeholder that possibly going to lose out if we take too much action on, or if we use too much restrictive government on or related to climate change issues. Again issues frame किस तरह से हो रहे हैं. And then finally, how do individuals engage with these hashtags, right? So what I mean by point number 3 is कि अगर कोई for example tweet कर रहा है about Greta Thunberg, right? So if they've used the hashtag Greta Thunberg, तो उसमें retweet तो ठीक है, वो you can't really get into much detail कि कौन retweet करे है, but उस पर अगर comments वगैरह आ रहे हैं तो वो किस तरह के आ रहे हैं. Are people sort of speaking against her, are people trying to set up conspiracy theories और सारी ये चीज़ें. So how are people engaging with these hashtags or with the posts that use these hashtags essentially. So ये 3 चीज़ें I want कि आप in the next day or day and a half इस पर आप थोड़ा सा गौर करें. So climate change, I'm assuming here कि we all agree कि climate change is real and it is underway, right? So मैं उस assumption को लेकर आज के lecture में आगे जाऊँगी. So then the question becomes कि what role does digital or social media play? Digital और social media को मैं थोड़ा सा interchangeably use करूँगी, but essentially what I mean by this is any form of media that's essentially based on the internet, right? उसका जो main host है, that's the internet. So to start with, so digital media हमें क्या देता है? It gives us a platform and it also gives reach, right? Platform to everybody in order to share their voice or share their opinions and to broadcast their opinions. But more importantly, it also gives you reach, right? कि अगर आप reach किस तरह से कि if you engage with certain hashtags or if you have what they call clout on social media, so you have a higher reach, right? Which means कि you are sort of influential, which also means कि आप जो चीज़ कहेंगे it's very likely to have a major impact. And this reach is larger than ever before, क्योंकि आप इधर बैठे हुए if you have enough of a following, you can sort of broadcast your opinions to, let's say, millions if not billions of people. एक अगले उस पर sorry right, so एक चीज़ I wanted us to look at was this interesting visualization, right? So basically ये क्या है, internet users by world region, and इसकी जो latest data it's like it shows the change from 1996 up until 2015. So basically what you see here is के growth किस तरह से हुई है in access to the internet, right? So अगर 1996 वाली साइट पर आप जाएं तो इसके अंदर you can see के 3 major chunks हैं जिनके पास internet access था, and again it is like less than 500 million जिन लोगों के पास था. So I would imagine कि ये 100 million तक लोग होंगे जिनके पास इंटरनेट जो इंटरनेट यूज़र्स थे. सो इसके अंदर जो चंक्स हैं वो 3 मेन हैं, जिसमें नॉर्थ अमेरिका यानी कि यूएस एंड कनाडा, ईस्ट एशिया एंड पैसिफिक का छोटा सा शेयर है, एंड देन यूरोप एंड सेंट्रल एशिया. सो 1996 के अंदर वी हैड लाइक वेरी फ्यू पीपल जिनके पास एक्सेस था. देन वी कम टू 2015, राइट, विच इज़ ओवर हियर. अब इसमें आप देखें, सो दिस हैज़ गॉन फ्रॉम around about 100 million users up to like more than 3 billion, right? So let's just call it 3.5 billion users in 2015. Right now I imagine कि इससे भी ज़्यादा हो गया होगा. And look at the reach, right? Look at the reach. इसमें यूरोप एंड सेंट्रल एशिया जो कि 96 में भी ठीक है, they had access. ईस्ट एशिया एंड पैसिफिक का चंक जो है 96 में बहुत छोटा सा था, it was almost negligible, but right now look at the share that East Asia and Pacific region has. It's larger than any other share or larger than any other geographical area. Latin America और Caribbean में भी आ गया है, South Asia, right? So इसमें भी आप देखें कि इसकी जो point है वो start कहाँ से हो रहा है, it's like somewhere around here, right? So this is, I would say, around 98-99 के एक्सेस आना शुरू हुआ इन साउथ एशिया. नॉर्थ अमेरिका का चंक जो है इट्स लाइक मोर इज इट हैज़न्ट चेंज ड्रास्टिकली, राइट, अगर आप 96 से कंपेयर करें. एंड देन यू हैव मिडल ईस्ट एंड नॉर्थ अफ्रीका रीजन विच इज़ अगेन 2000 के बाद से इनका जो है ग्राफ वो ऊपर को जाना शुरू करते हैं. एंड सब सहारन अफ्रीका. सो अगेन यू सी लाइक शुरू में यू स्टार्ट ऑफ विद a very small proportion of the world population which had access to the internet, and now you have more than 3.5 billion people who have access to the internet. What does this all mean? Okay, anyone's voice can be put out there and then also heard, right? Anyone के ऊपर emphasis होगा, literally anybody who decides one day कि okay, there's something that I feel passionate enough about to speak on it to a larger audience. They make their social media account, which is a very very easy thing to do. थोड़े से clicks करने and you have it, and then you can put your voice out there, right? And also let's just assume के 8 billion of us, because that's the world population, technically they have that opportunity to put their voice out there in the world, right? We're assuming के if we assume कि सबके पास internet access है, but we know from the graph के सबके पास नहीं है, but at least theoretically everybody should be able to put their voice out, especially now when we talk about the internet as a basic human right? So can you think about, or can you identify a problem or challenge given all that we've discussed so far? So one thing is that there are barriers to having one's voice heard in the public sphere, right? So पहले हमने कहा है कि theoretically anyone should be able to, like anyone from 8 billion की population should be able to put their voice out there, but then at the same time we know कि internet availability is not really as universal as that, तो बैरियर्स एग्जिस्ट करते हैं टू हैविंग वंस वॉइस हर्ड इन द पब्लिक स्फीयर. इसमें एक रीज़न तो एक मेन बैरियर क्या हो सकता है कि यू सिंपली डोंट हैव एक्सेस टू द इंटरनेट, राइट. एंड देन ऑल्सो बाकी बैरियर्स भी हो सकते हैं. सो कैन यू थिंक अबाउट अदर बैरियर्स एज वेल. एक तो हो गया कि गिवन आगे जाकर हम डिस्कस करेंगे भी कि गिवन द सैचुरेशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन दैट वी हैव राइट नाउ, और जो आगे क्या उसको कहते हैं कंटेंट फ्लडिंग. Again, that can be a barrier to having one's voice heard, right? और दूसरा जो मैंने पहले भी कहा था कि if you don't have what they call clout, या if you don't have enough of a following, तो you can put your voice out there, but it's not necessary कि you will be heard. So last week we talked about affordances, right? I hope you remember कि affordances का क्या meaning, or just like what affordances is it all about. It's basically what the environment, for example, if we're talking about environmental affordances, what can the environment give to the human being that's interacting with it, and it can be both good and bad, right, and vice versa as well. So अगर हम social media के affordances देखें, उसने क्या allow किया, right? So one key thing that it has allowed is for एक्टिविस्ट, जो इन्वायरमेंटल एक्टिविस्ट या फिर जनरली किसी भी इशू के रिलेटेड जो एक्टिविस्ट हैं, देयर एबिलिटी टू मोबिलाइज. एंड आई थिंक द अरब स्प्रिंग इज़ अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल ऑफ दिस. बट इवन इन्वायरमेंटल वाली साइड पर भी दिस हैज़ अलाउड फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजिंग, राइट, ऑर्गेनाइजिंग एंड मोबिलाइजिंग. With climate change and environment in particular, social media has played a transformational role by changing the conditions for visibility in environmental politics around the world. Now, environmental politics के अंदर basically conditions for visibility before social media क्या थे compared with conditions for visibility now, right? So if you look at the time before the social media was a big thing, तो इसमें आप कर लें जो 80s में ब्रंटलैंड रिपोर्ट वाला टाइम अगर आ गया, तो उसके अंदर environmental politics में कौन कौन involved था? Generally world leaders, right? और basically people who were more or less elected officials, or people who were already very much in the system. But now, because of social media, it has allowed activists such as Greta Thunberg to gain just as much influence and visibility in environmental politics. And that's a major transformational change which has been afforded by social media. More particularly, the availability of social media platforms, it has allowed for activists to alert, to amplify, and also to engage a much wider audience. Okay, so it's not just that they have the ability to sort of have a platform, but it has somewhat changed how they use that platform. Alert is a very important thing, and then again, like once you alert an audience to a certain issue, then you have to sort of amplify that issue for them so that they are able to engage with it for a sustained period of time. So we'll go over each of these in more detail in the next few slides. So alert क्या है? Alert is simply pointing and naming something out there in the world, right? So and क्या मतलब है इसका कि let's say there are at any point there are tens of thousands of things going on in the world, right? And if I'm an activist, if I'm an environmental activist, for example, and I have a good enough following on social media, so I have the power to alert people or alert my following to a certain issue that I think is important. Oops. Right, so I can alert people to whatever issue it is that I think is important enough, right? And that's like a major affordance again that social media has provided. So the simple act of pointing and naming something out there in the world are basic entry points to socially discerning and categorizing parts of nature, right? So basically by pointing something out, that's an entry point for whoever it is that's following me to sort of categorize that issue as important enough to be on top of one's agenda or top of one's attention even, and then to take it forward. नेक्स्ट क्या होता है कि ऑनलाइन पोस्ट फ्रॉम सेलिब्रिटीज़ एंड ऑर्डिनरी पीपल turned China's poisonous smoke from a little discussed issue to a top level concern and helped push officials to acknowledge the problem. तो इसको मैं कही थी कि काफ़ी सारा सिमिलर है with the Lahore smog as well. क्योंकि सिंपली अलर्ट करना, again, because it's online posts from celebrities and ordinary people, so it's basically people who have a clout, who have a following. Anybody can post about it. Lahore wali smog bhi thi, I think anybody could have posted about that issue, but उसकी टॉप अटेंशन या उसका आपके अटेंशन लेवल्स को ग्रिप करना तभी ज़्यादा पॉसिबल हुआ, या ऑन अ लार्जर स्केल वो तभी पॉसिबल हुआ when somebody was like famous enough to do so, tweeted about it or posted it on their platforms. अब जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी आगे जाएगी तो the way that we are alerted is not just limited to social media necessarily, like directly not limited to the social media, but अक्सर आपके पास app alerts वगैरह भी आ गए, and also wearables, right? So wearables में आगे let's say वो जो smart watch or something like that which you wear around and it can alert you to let's say AQI levels या फिर pollution levels or anything like that, and they are becoming increasingly common क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी जैसे जैसे अवेलेबल हो रही है, जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी जो है वो डेमोक्रेटाइज हो रही है उस तरह से. So people who wish to navigate their exposure to risk and their exposure to health related concerns, they are becoming more and more conscious of the fact that we are able to alert ourselves, and we are able to track the level of for example UV rays that we are exposed to on a daily basis, या फिर the level of air quality that we breathe essentially from one day to another. But इसमें एक कैच क्या रहता है कि if people are on alert on a daily basis, it's easy for those not living on the front lines to fall into alert fatigue, right? So अगर let's say कि मैं ऐप और I get a smart watch जो कि मुझे रोज़ अलर्ट करेगी कि आज UV रेज का एक्सपोजर इतना, या फिर वो मुझे अलर्ट करेगी कि आज एयर क्वालिटी का ये लेवल है. It can get very easy for those who are not living on the front lines to fall into alert fatigue, right? So let's say, especially these days, right, if you consider the fact that a lot of people are just staying home these days, they're not going outside, and if अगर let's say January के अंदर मैंने buy की होती है एक smart watch that was going to tell me about the air quality outside or the air quality का ही example या फिर pollution levels का, but since I'm not going outside, then I'm not necessarily on the front line, and so it would not really have made a difference to me. It does not make a difference to me now, right? So that's another thing. So अगर वो फिर भी मुझे alerts उसके आते रहेंगे तो फिर I will fall into alert fatigue now because it doesn't really bother me anymore, and that's another not so good thing. जब आप alert हो जाते हैं किसी issue से, then you have to amplify it as somebody who's an activist on social media, right? So the communication goal of amplification is to increase the number of people who come into contact with your message, right? So जो मैंने शुरू में homework define किया हुआ था उसमें, if you remember, I also asked you to pay attention to how people are engaging with those hashtags. तो again, सिर्फ alert करना is not enough, then you have to increase कि कितने लोग आपके मैसेज के साथ engage या फिर आपके मैसेज को देख रहे हैं essentially. So you always look at कि views कितने आए हैं मेरे. If you look at what do you call them, live sessions जो होते हैं Facebook और इस तरह के platforms के ऊपर, right? So you have to see कि वो कितना reach कितनी थी essentially आपके मैसेज की. And then projection bombing एक और mechanism है, which is जो हमने last वाले lecture के अंदर देखा था, where they projected that picture of I think a dolphin on the Empire State Building. That was an example of projection bombing, right? This is outdoor digital projection of content to publicize a message, foster awareness and generate buzz or conversation, right? So essentially इसका कोई transformative उस तरह से नहीं काम होता, right? So if you project a photograph of a dolphin on a big building, उसे you're not going to save those dolphins, but you are going to generate buzz or conversation. which is essentially the goal of amplification, right? Now, social media may be used for or against the publicizing of environmental communication. You must not forget that social media, but it's not just environmental activists who are, active over there. There are also climate change deniers जो कि social media पर active होते हैं, and also tons of other categories, tons of other themes that are active on social media. Right? So it's not just about the environment, of course. It's about entertainment, it's about movies, it's about news, and lots of other things, right? So Wired magazine ने claim किया था, this is about the Standing Rock situation जो कि US में हुई थी, where they were going to put that pipeline, और फिर obviously the local population और जो native population थी, they were not going to they were not going to be okay when once that happened. तो उसके खिलाफ काफ़ी protesting वगैरह हुई थी. So around that time Wired magazine claims के the whiplash of the news cycle and the short attention spans, this is very important, short attention spans exacerbated by the Twitterification of politics. This is an interesting term that I think we should discuss on Wednesday. Worked against those efforts, right? जो कि सारे efforts essentially like on ground भी हो रहे थे to prevent the pipeline from being put into place. और फिर ट्विटर के ऊपर भी उसके काफ़ी सारा एम्पलीफिकेशन अलर्ट भी हो रहा था और एम्पलीफिकेशन भी हो रही थी, राइट? सो इवन पीपल एज फार एज लेट्स से कि यूएस में ये सारा हो रहा है, बट इवन वी वर अवेयर मोर और लेस कि क्या हो रहा है उधर. It worked against the efforts actually. The Twitterification of politics, it worked against the efforts to prevent the DAPL. On Tuesday, the hashtag DAPL trended nationwide for a little while, and then it was eclipsed by chatter about the Academy Award nominations. If social media and live streaming enabled the Standing Rock Sioux to amplify their protest for clean water, its speed and ceaseless flow also allowed the world to forget about them. So, it's like a win-lose situation with social media. So on the one hand, you can create awareness about these issues, but this awareness, you can alert people to this issue, you can amplify this issue, but this amplification is not permanent, right? It's not going to be permanent. And that's a problem. Because you need to be able to sustain the attention that you're grabbing. You cannot just, have it go by within a second. क्योंकि अगर आपने एक्शन देना है तो you have to be able to sustain that attention. और फिर क्या हुआ था इस केस के अंदर के things like Academy Award, ऑस्कर nominations जो है वो उसको eclipse कर दी थी, right? So again, I think we have to keep thinking about the issue attention cycle. कि with social media, the issue attention cycle, I think उसके जो 5 हमने stages पढ़े हैं उसमें से it's just maybe it's boiled down to even 2 or 3 stages, right? So it just keeps going by really, really fast. And that can be a problem. And then finally आपने engage करना है अपनी audience को. So let's say कि you've alerted an audience, you've amplified the issue for them. Next step is to engage that audience and for a sustained period of time. Social media technology, it has enabled another type of grassroots activism, engagement, which is taking individual and collective actions that address public life. So in a lot of cases, it's not just कि आप कोई issue raise करें, but then also you get people to take collective action related to that issue. Self और ये इसमें वो basically argue करें कि bottom up approach भी possible हो गया, because like we said earlier कि anybody theoretically has the ability to project their voices or to share their opinions online. Self-initiating refers to the ability of individuals through what are often called bottom-up online sites to instigate social change via social media that engages others. Bottom-up sites, they provide easy-to-use online tools. Think about user experiences, right? With apps like Twitter, Facebook और Instagram, it's very easy to use. आपको कुछ सीखना नहीं है basically उस ऐप को यूज़ करने के लिए. And also petitions आपने जो start करनी है, again petition start करना is a very, very easy thing to do now, right? So for example, you have sites such as moveon.org, change.org, और इस तरह के जो हैं, they're very easy to use and they allow you to sort of engage wider audiences in your campaigns or in your activism. ठीक है, तो let's just say for 1 minute कि you are able to alert an audience to a certain issue as an environmental activist, you are able to amplify that issue for that audience, and then you're able to engage that audience. और फिर क्या होता है, and then what is a big question to ask, right? कि वो जब हो गया तो फिर क्या होगा, क्योंकि does it stop there with the engagement, and also how much engagement is required, इसका क्या threshold है for the engagement to actually translate into something tangible in the form of policy or in the form of any other sort of agreement, right, to change the issue that you've amplified or that you've alerted an audience to. So the activists in social media, question is कि what impact do activists have via their use of social media? पहले हमने कुछ स्लाइड्स में थोड़ा बहुत डिस्कस किया भी है, but then again जो लास्ट वाली साइड हमारा क्वेश्चन यही था फाइनली कि then what happens after you engaged an audience. Three concepts in this question go about the impact that activists have by use of their social media. We can look at three concepts to explain an answer. उसमें एक है hypermediacy, then we have remediation, and finally we have digitally mediated social networks. So we'll look at these individually in the next few slides. Hypermediacy क्या है? The Luca and Peoples Valley reading, which was cited in Cox and Pizzulo, they used the idea of the public screen to describe activists' ability to adapt so effectively to a wired society. Right, so they've basically talked about a public screen, which is essentially, let's say, an activist group, they have their social media and they have their online presence, and if they have an online presence, then they're essentially going to have a public screen, right? It's a representation of themselves जो कि publicly available है, and it shows also कि they are able to adapt, right? अक्सर आप लोगों ने भी observe किया होगा कि you sometimes go to a website, but sometimes you hear about this organization and then you say, oh मैं उसकी website पर जाता हूँ या जाती हूँ, then you go there, but then you don't really feel कि it's like, you know, a very it's not a very easy to navigate website. So then that somewhat puts you off, at least that has been the case in my experience. But if it's a very nicely made website, so you sort of, you know, see that they're present in the present, they're not living in the past, they're living in the present, and that they're able to adapt to changes in technology, and they are able to adapt to what is called here a wired society. The public screen, the Luca and Peoples argued, is a scene of hypermediacy. Public screen is not just आपकी जो physical representation on your online platform. It's also a heterogeneous space where representations of events open on to other representations or other media, in which mediations themselves are multiplied. Such heterogeneous spaces or media include multiple and interrelated images, texts, graphics, sound, and hyperlinks. These allow activists a constant reference to a global hypertext of information whose components can be remixed. Now, emphasis here is on remixed, right? So, the public screen is not something जो कि individually exist कर रही है. It's something that is, as it is called here, a scene of hypermediacy, right? जहाँ पर जो भी event हो रहा है उसको एक तो interpret किया जा, उसको mediate किया जा रहा है, and then it's also it opens on to other representations or other media, right? So mediations एक तरह से multiply हो रही हैं. So you use images, you use text, you use different visual representations or even sound representations, so you can reference other things. Or hyperlinks, for example, अब अगर public screen है किसी भी organization की, so you go to their homepage, it's not necessarily going to be all about themselves, right? So वो basically network एक तरह से होंगे, so they'll probably hyperlink you to, let's say, an act or a rule or a policy that's been released by a different organization or by a government sector. तो इस तरह से it's not just something that's a standalone thing, but it's essentially in conversation or in relation or in mediation with other avenues as well. फिर remediation क्या है? इसमें ये दो videos हैं which I am not going to play right now, but I want you to take a few minutes to watch both of them. One of these is about the Colorado River, and the other one is called the Matrix. So I think this is the one about the Colorado River one, and the other one is called the Matrix. Right, so they're not very long videos, but I really want कि आप उसको देखें. So that's going to explain to you कि remediation है क्या चीज़. Now with the first one, it's a spoof, so it's a funny video, but उसके अंदर when you watch it, so I want you to look at the way that one river, which in this case, or images भी more or less same ही हैं, but look at the messages that are being given. उन्होंने दो basically public messages एक तरह से आप कह लें, दो campaigns को represent कर रहे हैं, but they're using the same river, right? So they're using the same imagery more or less to give two very different messages essentially, and that's very interesting क्योंकि एक ही मीडिया को differently present किया जा रहा है, and that's essentially what remediation is. जो the Matrix वाली है, it's taken from the Matrix if you watch that movie, so but this is more about you'll watch it and you'll understand. इसके आगे फिर sequels भी आए हैं, there's like 2 or 3 or even more follow-up videos for the Matrix. So do watch them and we'll discuss them in detail on Wednesday. So remediation is a defining characteristics of the new digital media. It's a process where older media are represented or refashioned in a new medium. Right? So जिस तरह The Matrix इसका example आ जाता है, जिसमें एक older media आप कह लें कि The Matrix वाली film थी, which is represented in a new medium as a YouTube video series, which again is going to be available to a lot more people because you don't have to go to the cinema, you don't have to buy tickets or DVDs or whatever to watch it, but it's much more widely available, right? So basically पुराने existing media को differently use करना. And with the river, with the first video, again वही बात आ जाती है कि they're using one representation of a river to give two different messages. Paired with new digital technologies, remediation also accounts for the multiplication or going viral of messages, images, posts or videos, as these are disseminated via different media and spread across digital networks. ठीक है? Because remediation, like I said with the Matrix as well, right? So it's more widely available. It's put on platforms जो कि ज़्यादा accessible हैं, which increases their viral factor essentially, कि वो उनके viral होने के ज़्यादा chances होते हैं, which means कि a lot more people can have access to them, can view them, can form opinions about them, can react to them and get involved with the issues that are being remediated. Then finally, digitally mediated social networks. These consist of people or nodes essentially connecting with like-minded others, individuals and groups sharing their outrage and hope, initiating projects and coordinating with others to create change. So essentially ये आ जाते हैं इसके अंदर Twitter and all these social networks, and also things like Reddit. For example, if you ever go to Reddit, so you have certain groups, right? So you join specific आपके जो niche interests होते हैं उसके related आप groups जो हैं वो join करते हैं, and then again you connect with people who are like-minded. You share your ideas more or less with like-minded people, and then you are able to initiate projects and get involved at that level as well. Now earlier on I talked about the idea that because everybody theoretically potentially has access to the internet, which means that they have access to social media as well, but then there is the possibility of there being the saturation of information, या इसको हम overcrowding भी कह सकते हैं on online spaces, right? So think about how many people have access to Facebook now. I think it was around 5 billion the last time I checked. Essentially, it is an overcrowded online space. A major issue, Cox and Pizzullo argue, especially when it comes to activism for causes such as environmentalism and climate change, is overcrowding. So activists called to action are increasingly competing with thousands of other communications daily from social media feeds, text, corporate ads and more, right? So again, because there are so many things that are now using social media, so many avenues on social media, and also so many outlets, right, that have access to social media. So एक्टिविस्ट के लिए जो अब मेन चैलेंज है वो ये है कि हाउ टू नेविगेट थ्रू दिस ओवर क्राउडेड स्पेस एंड हाउ टू मेक श्योर कि उनका जो मैसेज है वो it does not just get put across but that people engage with it for a long enough period of time. So how can you relate this factor to the issue attention cycle? Think about it for a little bit और फिर हम Wednesday को इसको डिस्कस करेंगे. तो content flooding इसको कह सकते हैं, right? So even think about your own experience with online spaces and also think about the fact that with ads and everything, so your attention is essentially being mediated or hyper mediated even by many different avenues. With hundreds of thousands of content producers and online sources across multiple social media platforms and faster internet and whatnot, the resulting volume renders any one environmental NGO's identity hard to sustain. And also हमारे पास अब इतनी ज़्यादा NGOs, just like these activist groups, they spring up every now and then, and there are so many that sometimes it's hard to keep track of कि कौन क्या कर रहा है, or even to remember, right, कि अच्छा ये वाले जो हैं इधर हैं, where they are, where they're present, what their business is and how they function and all that. It's hard to keep track now. And also the other thing that's come up is clicktivism. Clicktivism क्या होता है? It's like activism but also जो consumer side से आप देखेंगे तो on sometimes you'll get a message such as कि आप इस पर click करें to show your support for, let's say, for reducing carbon emissions. It's not technically going to have much difference. Okay, and then the downside of all of this is कि we tend to believe कि अगर हमने click कर दिया उस पर तो we've done our part. We'll go on and we'll continue with our business as we did before, and we continue essentially contributing to carbon emissions with our consumption patterns and all that. So we think कि click हमने कर दिया तो फिर we've done our part, when that is not true. So basically जो build करना है, it's not just engagement online but also offline engagement. तो उस चीज़ को translate करना is the most difficult thing, right? कि online engagement तो आप फिर भी create कर सकते हैं, but then how do you translate that into offline engagement by way of people's buying behavior or their patterns of consumption, for example. Things such as gamification may work, but इसके ऊपर ज़्यादा studies नहीं की गई हैं on their long term impact on again the environment. एक example मेरे दिमाग में आया about Pokemon Go, which was released a couple years ago, and in the और इसका it does give a good example of how gamification might not have a very long term issue at scale. Pokemon Go basically क्या था कि allowed people to go around walking outside and just exploring their neighborhoods to figure out कि कहाँ पे Pokemon and stuff. It wasn't really like उसका, I don't think it was meant to be an environmentally friendly thing, but at least people were out and about. They were walking around and doing all those things. But again, शुरू में I guess more people were into it, but now there's only now there's fewer people who are so dedicated to playing Pokemon Go. And about building online spaces for environmentalism, the key to political organizing is the ability to carve out a new public space that is not just limited to the internet, but it makes itself visible in the places of social life. Right? So again वही चीज़ आती है कि ऑफलाइन engagement भी आपको चाहिए कि it's not just something कि आप मैं उस if I'm a part of the online space, so it's not just कि मैं online उसके बारे में post कर रही हूँ, but even I should bring that issue up in my personal life or in my offline life as well, in my social life. And that's when there's higher chances of people being engaged or people actually contributing to change. एक interesting जो again I want you to watch this video. It's long. I think it's about 1 hour long. So think about this as like an optional documentary that you can watch. It's about Scott Kelly, an astronaut जिन्होंने 2015 से 16 तक एक online campaign launch की थी, which was called A Year in Space. And so the video explains कि वो किस तरह से it was something जो कि उन्होंने initiate की to sort of get people more involved in looking at Earth essentially from a different perspective. So online spaces, they can also provide wireframes. हमने framing की बात की, obviously framing an issue, that's something you do in real life. But online में आप क्या करेंगे, you're doing wireframing, which is basically how you visualize the structure, function and navigational steps of a website, allowing a user, for example, to navigate from a home page via links to specific issues or campaigns, and from there to sign up menus or a portal for networking with others and so on, right? So online spaces एक तरह से क्या कर सकते हैं, because we're talking about building online spaces for environmentalism, right? So not everybody is going to be equally interested in one particular environmental issue. And because if we're talking about creating online spaces at the global level, so we need to understand that एक issue, let's say flood, might be a big issue over here, but in a different country it might just be a major issue for them related to the environment is let's say heat waves, right? So wireframes क्या करते हैं कि if there's one website but it allows me to navigate इस तरह से कि मैं अपना issue या the issue that I'm most interested in, that I'm able to engage with that issue, right? अगर मैं ऐसी website पे जाऊँगी जो कि सिर्फ heat wave या different issues को highlight करोगे, then I will not really be interested enough to engage in that environmental online space. So you need to have something that's open to more users, or that's open to a wider audience and open to a wider range of issues. फिर आ जाती है द पब्लिक विल, क्योंकि आपने ऑनलाइन स्पेस ठीक है क्रिएट कर ली, बट देन योर गोल अगेन इज़ टू समन द पब्लिक विल, या फिर आपने पब्लिक विल को क्रिएट करना है और फिर उसको नर्चर करना है, और द डिज़ायर ऑफ मैनी पीपल फॉर अ चेंज, क्योंकि एसेंशियली जब तक डिज़ायर नहीं होगा, जब तक पब्लिक विल नहीं होगी टू चेंज और टू प्रिवेंट फर्दर डिटीरियोरेशन ड्यू टू क्लाइमेट चेंज, तब तक कुछ होगा नहीं. Once public will is created and once it is marshaled, it can be a powerful force in society for infusing an action with symbolic legitimacy. जब आप ज़्यादा again public will आप किस तरह से create करते हैं, by engaging enough people to come out for a march, right, for that issue. So climate march थी जो which is what Greta Thunberg did, but उसकी जो उसका impact है that's again debatable. Public will campaigns are strategic initiatives that are designed to legitimize and garner public support as a mechanism of achieving change. ठीक है, public will is something that is going to give you better chances of creating change, essentially. It's not just public attention that is required, but also sustained attention. जैसे मैंने पहले कहा था, we don't just want कि public should be aware of certain issues, but that they should feel कि उनके अपने personal stakes हैं in that issue, and that will allow them to have sustained attention, किस वो long term तक उस issue के अंदर involved रहेंगे. फिर multi modality आ जाती है. Now activists are increasingly shifting from broadcast communication models to network models. Broadcast communication models और network models के अंदर क्या फ़र्क होता है? Broadcast communication model क्या होता है कि where let's say I have an account, I post something about my organization and that's it, right? There's no back and forth essentially. But network model क्या होता है, where I make use of my network. It allows for more open communication as opposed to me just talking at people. There's more of conversations that go around. Castells, he explains multimodality as the multiple and intersecting forms of network relationships that are developed in sustaining the movement, any movement. So he's basically talking about movements such as Arab Spring and all that, but Cox and Pizzulo, they believe that it's also applicable to environmental activism. The networking form is multimodal. It includes social networks online as well as pre-existing social networks and networks formed during the actions of the movement. So it's not just multimodality, it's not just one network mode that's being used. It's not just कि let's say if I am an environmental organizer, activist organization, तो मैं सिर्फ ट्विटर के ऊपर नहीं मैं इंगेज करी, बट आई एम ऑल्सो ब्रिंगिंग इन माई सोशल नेटवर्क जो कि ऑफलाइन एग्जिस्ट करते हैं या फिर दूसरे प्लेटफॉर्म से भी जो मेरे नेटवर्क्स एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. सो यू ब्रिंगिंग ऑल ऑफ देम टुगेदर सो दैट देयर इज लाइक अ वाइडर रीच, इवन वाइडर रीच, राइट? एंड यू ब्रिंग इन डिफरेंट ब्लॉग्स या डिफरेंट नेटवर्क. सो बेसिकली आप एक प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर ले आते हैं essentially. Castells also refers to networking that characterizes large-scale social movements like the Arab Spring, like I said. But again, Cox and Pizzulo argue कि ये चीज़ environmental activism के ऊपर भी और environmental NGOs के ऊपर भी apply करती है. So before we leave, I wanted कि हम लोग Wednesday के लिए कुछ questions को flag कर लें. ये जो चैप्टर है उसके एंड में ही उन्होंने थोड़े बहुत दिए थे, बट आई थिंक दीज आर ऑल रियली इंटरेस्टिंग. सो पहला है कि पार्टिसिपेंट्स इन द 2017 मार्च फॉर साइंस sought to persuade ये एक again like एक दूसरा climate march होता है उस समय march for science हुआ था, which is also related somewhat to climate change because they proposed कि जो climate science है उसको भी you sort of recognize that and you use climate science to make better decisions. उनका aim क्या था in the US to persuade President Trump to remain in the Paris Climate Agreement and all that. So have you attended an environmental rally or protest or public hearing? Again, I think हमने last term भी last semester भी थोड़ा सा discuss किया था with the climate march, but think back to that moment. What impact, if any, do you believe your and others' participation in such events have? Right, so आप लोगों ने कुछ लोग थे जिन्होंने last year attend किया था climate march को, but think about now, in like about I think 6-7 months later, कि उसका कोई sustained impact हुआ है या नहीं हुआ? And do you think in retrospect कि did it matter कि मार्च हुआ था, या फिर उसमें क्या चीज़ मिसिंग थी, राइट? क्योंकि अब हमारे पास हाइंडसाइट का थोड़ा सा बेनिफिट है. सेकंड क्वेश्चन क्या है कि डू यू थिंक देयर शुड बी अ हायरार्की बिटवीन एक्टिविज्म ऑनलाइन एंड ऑफलाइन? बेसिकली क्या कि एक्टिविज्म जो है, इज इट मोर इम्पोर्टेंट टू हैव इट ऑनलाइन और ऑफलाइन फर्स्ट, एज इन टॉपिक आना चाहिए. So again, think about this question. The third one is, how do you manage content flood? Think about it in your own lives, right? So have you ever felt कि content flooding हो रही? Have you ever felt कि बहुत ज़्यादा information आपके ऊपर throw की जा रही है when you use your social media platforms? And how do you deal with that? Or do you even deal with that? And how do you decide कि मैंने इस source के साथ engage करना है, उसके साथ नहीं करना? Right? So this is going to relate to the very first slide जहाँ पे मैंने आपको homework भी थोड़ा सा दिया था. Finally, if you were to design an environmental communication app or a wearable technology today, what would you create? ठीक है, तो this would be an interesting thing to think about as well, कि अगर आपको कहा जाए कि you create an app or you create some form of technology which is related to environmental communication or environmental tracking, what do you think what would you do? So think about these questions and we'll discuss them on Wednesday. Thank you.